Vintage Challenge. 106 players because everybody's stuck inside. I took Robbie's Managorger list and I just made it more dazes, more Force of Negations, more free counter spells. Jose's a European champion. What? Vintage champion. Is this from what I know? Yeah, I don't know. These are 75 legal cards in the format, so we'll see how this goes. The idea is we put a Managorger Hydra into play and then we protect it. So I don't really know how that's gonna do, but it's what I wanted to do today. So this is what we're gonna do today. Okay? Everybody cool with that? Great. Absolutely. Let's play Magic. Alright. What do we got? We've got counter magic. Lots of counter magic. And an Oko. Man, if he plays Eldrazi, the Oko's good, but the counter magic sure isn't. Yeah, it's called Good Deck Building Show. I don't know if you ever heard about it. I know that you don't do good deck building, but this guy, I almost want to like put it back, but I feel like that'd be kind of greedy. It's just so bad if opponent plays Eldrazi. They're on Pio. I live a turn. It's pretty fucking good though. It's real bad if they're on Eldrazi, Cho. Yo, how's it going, man? It's still big blue. Are you kidding me? Managorger Hydra is definitely a blue card. I could use another land, though, off the top. Pretty much down to counter any spell, though. Dreadhorde Arcanist resolves. Dreadhorde Arcanist dies. Alright. Green. Land. 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 Not a land. I see. I didn't check the mana base, but I thought it was fine. Let's see how it goes, I guess. Another one? Another one. Hard cast it. Oh, Shattering Spree on my Opal. Or Pearl. I'm gonna just Flusterstorm this shit. I want to be able to play this Oko. It's very important to me. Oh. No, sir. I cannot be having that here. Got a land drop. I did it. It's gonna get forced. Okay, so back where we were before, but now we have a land drop. Oh, a fucking classic. Alright, I don't know if Mystic Sanctuary is allowed to be played in this deck, but I felt like it was a waste not to have one, so I put one in. Nope. Come on, force it, force it, force it. Yes! Yes! Pitching a Daze! Nope. Man, Daze is broken, chat. Daze is broken. Can I just get an emerald off the top? I deserve an emerald off the top. Not exactly an emerald. I guess we'll play the Sanctuary. Yes, Collector Oof, a classic. I don't know if these Collector Oofs are supposed to be Tarmogoyfs. I thought about it for a long time. By a long time, I mean like 1 minute maybe. But I don't know. Collector Oof's so broken. Laugh at all the PO players. I guess you're already probably favored versus PO, so you probably just put the Oofs in the board and play Tarmogoyfs, but whatever. Whatever. Do I preordain, or do I end of turn dig? Did I even have any Snapcasters or anything in this deck? No. All I have is a Mystic Sanctuary. Interesting. And Delve spells. I guess it would be good to, like, get their Pyroblast out so that I can play an Oko. I think they have, like, Force of Negation, maybe. It's going to be a Delavinia. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Play around Daze. You have Pyroblast? You do? Master! Alright, we just need to hit a green land and everything is fine. I mean, that also works, I guess. Aha! We done it. If I guess I don't really want to play an Oof. I mean, it's fine. I could crack and play an Oof here. Doesn't really do very much. But then I can just stand up my Pearl next turn. Maybe it's fine. I don't know. If this was a Tarmogoyf, it'd be a lot better. So it's kind of funny that I Flusterstormed a Shattering Spree, and then that was targeting my Pearl, and then in the end I didn't care, and I just turned it off anyways. Get in there, Pearl! Elk time, baby. 3-turn clock. Boom! Alright, Treasure Cruise into Ancestral. Oh, yes, yes. Got him. Yeah, true. It became an elk, so it was really important that I Flusterstormed the Shattering Spree so it could become an elk in the future. Swords? Swords? Who's going to plow? Alright, the Oof is going to plow. Yeah, probably only great against PO, but it's probably fine. It's probably good enough. Found our Delver, chat. There it is, our multi-headed Delver. Ding, ding, ding. I got a 1-1. 106 players. Yeah, I think it's probably good versus Ravager shops as well, Joe. I don't know. I thought about it. I was like, do I want this Goy for the clock, or do I want these Oofs so that I don't have to use more sideboard slots for the PO matchup? And that's what I decided to do. And I could be wrong, for sure. So I'm going to take the Oof out. Maybe I keep the Oof in because I need slots, but I'm going to bring in the Library and the Pyroblasts. Maybe I don't actually have slots. And then we can, like, trim a Force of Will. 3, 2, and 3. I guess we could... That's what I said. That's what I was kind of thinking. Like, the Managorger Hydras are what's going to win the game anyways. Who needs some Goyfs? I guess we can keep the Hate Bear in instead. I don't know. That was the logic anyways. I don't know if it's right, but... I did not spend very much time making this deck, so there could definitely be things wrong. Because like I said, I took Ravi's 5-0, and then I cut a bunch of like the bigger cards, and I put in a bunch of interaction. So like, I think I took out like Mana Leak and Jace, and I put in a bunch of dazes and negations so I could be like all in on this protect the Hydra plan and stuff like that. That's the idea. This is my Delver of Secrets. It just can't be Pyroblasted, which is... anything that cannot be Pyroblasted is big in my book. I mean, it can be Pyroblasted. It just doesn't get destroyed when it gets Pyroblasted. I think I just kind of want to maybe run with this. Yeah, this is probably fine. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, I guess. Let's keep it. Not as much interaction as last time, but... got 2 Managorger Hydras, so like... that's the idea. Now we just need to draw that Mana Crypt off the top so I can play turn 1 Hydra, and then we're lit. We're on fire. Pithing Needle. So I can name my Flooded Strand. It's kind of interesting that they boarded that in. I don't actually think I can afford to get Wastelanded here. I think I have to negate this. That's kind of unfortunate, but I think I actually just have to... I guess I'll draw that Mana Crypt and I'll look silly, but... I don't know. If that feels real bad, of course, but I think I'm supposed to do it. Maybe I don't. Maybe I can just, like... I don't know. It's, like, not actually very likely that I draw running lands off the top. The deck is... I mean, we have, like, 19 sources, so maybe it is kind of likely. Alright, I'm gonna crack this for the Volcanic, and then use the Tropical to play the I guess I want to hold up Force of Will. Nah, I kind of want to Preordain. I don't actually want to hold up Force of Will. I can just represent Pyroblast. It's probably better. I guess I could get Spell Pierced here. Aha, Ancestral Cruise. Interesting. So, I kind of want to draw Cruise so I can pitch it to Force. And then we'll draw Ancestral next turn. Probably. Because there's like very little chance that I'm just jamming an Ancestral right now. We do know opponent plays 1 Daze in their deck as well. Alright, we'll just let that happen. They got their own Ancestral, but no land drop. Well, now I'm going to jam my Ancestral, I assume. So I can get Dazed, but that's about... Dazed, Force of Negation, and Force of Willed. But it's fine. Oh yeah, let's definitely just Time Walk here. If this gets Dazed, I think that's okay with me. Alright, I'm looking for a land, jam a Hydra. Oh, a Dazed jam a Hydra? Sure. Hydra. Just resolve. So I have Daze and Force. I'm pretty down with what's happening right now. This Hydra's going to get out of hand real quick. They do play Swords to Plowshares, but they currently don't have a white source. There's a lot of Dazes in my deck. Like, I stretched the number of... I thought 2 was probably the right number of Dazes, so I played 3. Now, I don't need to force this Ancestral, but I'm going to. Because I don't want them to draw into white mana. What's going on? I don't know what you're saying. Huh. So I'm going to force this, and then they're going to Pyroblast my Force of Will. I'm just going to Daze this. And now I have a 6/6 Managorger Hydra. They don't have white sources. and I have a cruise on my next turn. Now I can't, like, play my Hydra and cruise, but they're gonna gush in response. That's fine. They could have drawn, like, white source swords now. I already used my time walk, and I don't have a way to bring it back besides Sanctuary. Hydra, sure. They have... okay, that's not bad for them. I think I'm just gonna start by cruising. See if we can't get rid of this Harkenist. I currently have 7 cards in my yard, though. I don't really want to get rid of the Time Walk, because I really want to be able to Sanctuary. So I guess I'm going to start by preordaining then. Pyroblast and a Probe. I feel like I kind of want to have both of these cards. Maybe I don't actually need a Pyroblast. Maybe I just want a Probe. I don't know, having a Pyroblast kind of seems lit. I wonder if I can get to lethal damage on my Managorger Hydra this turn and make it so they have to block. 3 swords to Plowshares? And a Lightning Bolt. Holy crap, that's so many swords. I can't even believe they have 3 swords in their deck. Well, I have a misstep, so we're in, like, decent shape here. I kind of wish I didn't have a Pyroblast, but... I can't even believe they would fit that many in their deck. It's nuts. Alright, we hit the Lightning Bolt. Yeah, it's gotta be game, right? Even if they hit a white source, I have a mental misstep, and we have a 12-12 Hydra. Hype! Hydra hype! Hydra hype! Hydra hype! Yes! Yes! Hydra hype! Alright, so fighting over those Ancestral was real good. Hydra hype. Oh my god, Cho. I know you think everyone is bad, but not everyone is bad. Jeez. Yeah, I'm going to be working 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. starting next week, Tim. It's kind of gross, but it's, I don't know, it's probably better than working 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. for me. So... yeah, so I don't know what that means for streams, weekday streams. Not that I've been doing very many weekday streams, but if I were to do a weekday stream, I assume it would be at midnight my time. Or maybe at like 10 a.m. my time. I'm not really sure. Shouldn't really affect challenges and stuff on the weekends, but... I don't know, I like Managorger Hydra. Card is sweet. It can't be Pyroblast. I don't know if you know this, but you think it's blue, but it's really not blue. And it can't be Pyroblasted to death. Which is just about the only thing I want from my win cons. Dak Vaden, Oko, Pyroblast. I don't know, this list looks fine. Wait, why do I have 4 Flooded Strands? Oh my god, no, this is so bad. Why are there 4 flooded... Robbie! This is so bad. This should be all the various kind of blue fetches. I'm so glad that I forced the flooded strand. The only way that your opponent can beat... The only way your Jeskai opponent beats a Managorger Hydra is swords, and they should only have 2 swords in their 75. Opponent having 3 in hand is insane. But... And the thing is, like, to find their swords, they have to cast Preordains, which makes the clock faster, so... Alright, this is, like, really bad, though. This should be... 1 Misty... Oh my god, I didn't check the mana base. And 1 Tarn. I am so lucky that I forced the Pithing Needle. I would be in such deep shit. Yeah, and then you want your two 2-ofs to be your off-color blue lands, so this is fine, but... Oh man, 2 of those Flooded Strands should definitely have been a Misty and a Tarn. That's not good. 6 lands... I feel like I want 1 more fetch in this deck too, probably. But... I think Dreadhorde Arcanist is probably overrated. It's good. And when it flashes back an Ancestral, it's pretty fucking sick. When it flashes back a Preordain, it's pretty sick. When it flashes back a Ponder, it's pretty sick. But when it does nothing, it's not so sick, for sure. So, I mean, I think Dreadhorde Arcanist is playable and good, just not as good as everyone thinks it is, probably. Like, I would prefer to play Snapcaster Mage version over Arcanist version. And maybe you play 1 Arcanist instead of 3 Snapcaster Mages. What am I on today? Because we're playing this today. Except with bad mana base. Yeah, I decided I wanted 4 Managorger Hydras and 3 Dazes today. Deathrite? We have a Mana Crypt. Who needs a Deathrite Shaman when we have Mana Crypt? Instead of playing a 1/2 on turn 1, we just play a Managorger Hydra. Yeah, I mean, maybe it was, I don't know. People in Vintage like to think new cards are insane, and it turns out they're just not. Like Lavinia. People thought Lavinia would be instant restricted, too good for the format, and it's just okay. We talk about this in the Discord a lot, but most Vintage players tend to overreact on powerful new cards. I mean, some are broken. Karn and Narset are broken, but... Like... No, Lavinia is just like a medium card that's only like okay. It's so hard to cast. Y'all nuts? Oh, I don't think Lavinia should exist. I think Lavinia is really dumb, but it's not broken. It's just okay. Can die to Pyroblast. People, I think, probably underreacted to Karn. I think you're probably right, Joe. Karn is just dumb, stupid, dumb, broken. And people were like, this is going to be very, very good. Like, one-sided no rod. You can't really cast it off Mishra's Workshop. Yeah. I think the only thing I super regret is I wish that Narset was symmetrical. Because I actually think if you make Narset symmetrical... Ah, shit. I guess you can... How does Pio work with Narset if it's symmetrical? That might actually be a problem. Not well, right? You don't draw cards, right? If you PO'd a Narset back and it was symmetrical, would you not draw cards? Hydra is not easy to remove. That's the trick, Alien. If you pick... Yeah. Okay, so never mind. Maybe it wouldn't be broken in... Maybe it would still be broken in Vintage. I was thinking, like, if this card is symmetrical, right? You build your deck with cards that are not typically played. So, like, maybe you're playing Sleight of Hands instead of Preordains. Maybe you're playing Factor Fictions. Like, I think this card is actually super interesting if it's symmetrical, because you can't really take a huge advantage, right? I think the card would actually be incredibly interesting and fun to play with, and fun to build with, if it was symmetrical. Obviously, that might just not be the true if you can just pick it back up with PO and draw cards. That in that case, like, that's super good, and PO probably gets it restricted anyways. But maybe then in that case, PO gets restricted instead of Narset, and then you're left with a cool Planeswalker. I think this card is super cool if it's symmetrical. The fact that it's not is like really frustrating. But yeah, I think Lavinia would be much cooler card if it was symmetrical. Then you can't just jam it in Dig Through Time decks. I mean, Dig Through Time, obviously. Yeah, you can't just jam it in like Dig Through Time decks. It would be more of a hate bear. I basically think all of the cards should have been symmetrical, but yeah, but like I think this card doesn't need to be restricted if it's asymmetrical. Or sorry, if it's symmetrical instead of asymmetrical. The fact that one person gets to draw cards where the other person does not get to draw cards, and pretty much every deck wants to draw cards, like it was pretty stupid. I do. I think Narset a symmetrical Narset I think is an interesting card. Is the card even good? It might not be, Cho. It might not be. But it has a deck building challenge to it, which I think is super sweet. I like cards that can do that. Alright. Before we all get crazy, this deck is sweet. It's not my deck, though I did change it a bit. I took Ravi's deck, so here's Ravi's deck. And I cut Jace, and I cut a Fluster for a Pierce, and I cut Ancient Grudge and Mana Leak. And I cut the library from the main, and I put a Sanctuary in, and then I added 3 Dazes and 2 Force of Negations. Yeah, I don't know what the Mana Leaks were doing here. But I cut the bad cards, and I put in Dazes, basically. And that's how we got here. So we got 3 Dazes and 2 Force of Negations as ways to protect our Managorger Hydra and disrupt opponents' combo decks. I think Daze is probably at its all-time best in Vintage right now. I think Daze is very, very good. And then I think I trimmed 1 Pyroblast because there was too many Pyroblasts in the main. I really do think that Daze is quite good. I think 3 might be overdoing it. I think this deck might really want 2 Dazes, but I really wanted to play 3 today, so I think Daze is quite good right now, especially with the introduction of this Broken Land. Mystic Sanctuary is a dumb Magic card. This card should not have been an island. The fact that this card is an island is insane to me. We have Delvers. They're just big green Delvers. Just big green Delvers. Alright, so here's the trick. Delver is a bad card in Vintage. It can get bolted, and it can get pyroblasted, and it can get mental misstepped, and it doesn't always flip. Managorger Hydra, now that's just a big boy. Yeah, this card is really dumb. I really think this card is stupid broken, and we're never gonna be able to get rid of it because it's only played as a 1 or 2 of. Yeah, Delver takes way too long. The clock is not fast enough. You guys saw that Managorger Hydra, right? It swung what, twice? 1, 2, done. A+. So this is basically our Delver of Secrets that doesn't take anything to flip and is better. Yeah, it turns out when you want a Collector Oof, it doesn't matter if you play Moxen. No, Collector Oof is so broken that you can play a full set of Moxen and it doesn't matter. I don't think people are like, oh, Nombo. It doesn't fucking matter. You need your full Moxen for this. And like this Collector Oof could be a Tarmogoyf maybe, or like a Dreadhorde Arcanist or something, but I think it's better to have this in our deck as a possible way to stop the stupid artifact decks. So I think the oofs are great. I agree. Something I'm not sure about is if I'm supposed to be playing 2 Oko or 2 Dak Faden. Green Sun Zenith, not necessary. Oh, it's still a Nombo. Like, don't get me wrong. I thought 2 of each was too many 3-drop threats. I'm not 100% sure. Like, we could easily cut a Daze and put in a second Oko. Like, we could do that. I chose not to. But... God, I'm so tilted that I didn't notice there were 4 Flooded Strands in my list. No. Four Hydras. Yeah, this deck could probably use Emergent Scroll. No, I would say Golos Shops is better than Ravager Shops because I think that Arcbound Ravager just isn't good enough anymore. That's kind of the way I'm seeing it currently. Yeah, you know. It's okay because we have Moxen, Eric. Don't you understand? We have Moxen. I don't think 4 Hydra is wrong. I think Green Sun Zenith is a bad card. Oh my god. I'm gonna fucking win the challenge and shut you all up. Hydra is broken. We need 4 of it. Plague Engineer on Hydra. So true. This is true. No, Tarmogoyf is not as good as Hydra. No, chat. And you don't want to play Green Sun Zenith. It can get Flusterstormed and Spell Pierced. Three Bolt is like pretty normal right now, Eric. I know some people are cutting bolts down, but Sanctum Prelate on 3 is not gonna get the job done there, Log. Delver's unplayably bad. I just went over this, Waffla. Delver takes way too long to kill, can be Pyroblasted and bolted. I think Delver is unplayably bad, but I think Hydra's like pretty okay. I think chat is vastly underestimating how good Hydra is. Alright, someone was just like, Hydra, Tarmogoyf. Did you see the fucking Hydra from last game? It was a 10-10. It took a 12-12 by the time we attacked with it. It took a 12-12 by the time we attacked with it. My computer cannot handle a Twitch VOD and streaming at the same time. I guess my internet can't do that. Also, Twitch VODs are terrible. Then you're left with a cool... Man, I've been talking for like 10 minutes. We have a... And the thing is... How long have I been talking for? Alright. This is a 12-12! How is your Tarmogoyf ever going to be a 12-12, chat? What are you doing? Come on. 12-12. This thing has trample. It can't be chumped. Yes, it's a bad thing. It means you're not killing your opponent. Your threat needs to kill your opponent. There's like 2 plows in a Jeskai deck. You're fine. I don't know. It's definitely possible there should be a Snapcaster in here. I just took a list and I made adjustments and I ran with it. I had like 5 minutes left, okay? It's definitely possible this list should want a Snapcaster mage. And we could definitely cut the 3rd Daze for it. I cut the Sylvan from the main because I think it's actually like only good against a subset of the metagame. Like, you really don't want a Sylvan versus any of the shop decks, I think. But it could be right to have the Sylvan in the main, though. I don't want more than 2 Dax. If anything, I want a second Oko. I think Ren and 6 is a bad card, Log, for Vintage. I don't really think it's good enough. I think it doesn't have enough Doesn't do enough, in my opinion. You think Sylvan's good versus shops? I don't know, it might be. Maybe if Sylvan's good versus shops, then then maybe it's bad versus nothing, and I just want to have it in the main, which is probably fine. Well, this deck wants a Lotus a lot more than Matt's deck does, because I want to play a Managorger Hydra on turn 1, or a 3-drop Planeswalker on turn 1, so... Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I had too many 3-drops, so it was a little hard for me to justify another Oko. Lotus casts Managorger Hydra on turn 1, and that's all we want to do. So you're not going to convince me to cut a Lotus from this deck. Lotus, I guess you could cut from... I don't know, even your deck, Matt, I think you want a Lotus just because you have 5 turn 1 Planeswalkers. Like, I would sacrifice one of my cards for a turn 1 Planeswalker, so... The idea is you don't let them get their engine running because you're playing, like, only disruption. Like, I'm playing the most possible disruption. And, like, the most possible disruption. So we play a Hydra, and then the Hydra kills them. That's the plan. Okay? That's the plan. Yeah, I'm not happy about the 4 strand. Don't get me wrong. I think it's fine, Matt, but I think I would... Like, playing Shattering Spree and 5 3-drop Planeswalkers, I think it's still correct to play Lotus. So... All of my upgraded arts look... I don't know why my middle button's not working anymore, but all of the upgraded arts are so nice. Thank you, Modern Horizons, for fueling that. I sold most of my Modern Horizon cards before they were announced to be reprinted again, and I was like... Alright, Beerus. You want to know why 4 Strand matters? Because my opponent cast turn 1 Pithing Needle that would have named Flooded Strand. Wait a second. Opponent played Gitaxian Probe and then Pithing Needle, and I had a Flooded Strand in my hand, and I was about to get wrecked, so I had to counter their Pithing Needle on Flooded Strand. I think 4 Hydra's right, Waffle. I don't know why you think 4 Hydra is wrong. The whole point of the deck is to play a threat that kills them fast that we can protect. Yeah, so I just changed it, but you should have like 1 Tarn, 1 Misty instead of 2 Flooded Strands. I do not think the mana leaks need to come back. It's just like a pretty common deck building mistake. Is Dig, Cruise, and Gush too much? No, you can play Dig, Cruise, and Gush in any deck. There aren't so many better cards. The only one that I would think is better is Monastery Mentor. What other card kills as fast as Hydra and it can't be Pyroblasted? Yeah, so I couldn't fit a Yagwell in this deck, obviously, but you can fit a Snapcaster Mage. So the way I think about it is 2.5 Delve cards, basically. So I consider Cruise, Dig, Breach, and Yawgmoth's Will to be Delve cards. And I think you can have 2.5 of them in your 4 Preordained deck. And a half a Delve card is like a Snapcaster Mage or something. So we're playing 2.5-ish Delve cards. So I think it's fine. Pyroblast is broken! It costs 1 mana, and you can't Pyroblast a Pyroblast. At least with Mental Misstep, you could Mental Misstep a Mental Misstep. For better or for worse. You can't Pyroblast a Pyroblast. I updated the cardboard live, didn't I? No, I didn't. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't do it. I'll find it. Yes, I can upgrade the cardboard live. Delverless Delver. Oh, it's possible that this deck does want an Oro. I don't have an Oro, so that's definitely possible, Log. But maybe he doesn't. What the fuck? Why are you timing people out? What did Art do? What did you just do? I don't know what happened. I'll trust Raph that he did it up for a reason. Famous last words. Why am I only playing one? Because there's too much Golos shops, Wapla. Like, I think if Golos shops hadn't risen to prominence, you'd probably play 2 or 3 Pyroblasts in the main. But this deck doesn't really need Pyroblast as much as the other decks do. I mean, I played 3 Pyroblast in this deck, and I didn't think it was bad. I thought it might have been one too many, but I don't know. It's so hard to build discard decks, Eric, because the opponent just has to top deck 1 Ancestral, and it's all for nothing. Instead of Green Sun Zenith, we played Genesis Hydras. Interesting. I don't think that Golos Shops is a bad deck, Ian. I think that would be overstatement. Yeah, I mean, we have Biforces in the yard. So, want me to show you guys the PO deck I'm working on with Golos Shops in mind? So, I've been working on this PO deck here. And I've done some dirty things to Golos Shops with it. I mean, it's a different deck log. You guys are you're not thinking in the right mindset. You're thinking about a Planeswalker control deck. And this is not a Planeswalker control deck. This is a tempo aggro, a tempo deck. You're playing this like a Delver deck. You're trying to stick an early threat that clocks them fast and then protect it. The other decks, the typical Rug Planeswalker deck is trying to incremental value and then time walk combo. Like play control. This is not that. So you have to look at it from a different perspective. You're 3 mana threats, but you have a full set of Moxen. It's fine. You can have 3 mana threats. It's vintage. Are you not threatened by PO on turn 1? That's a 4 mana card. Because they're all bad. The 1 mana and 2 mana threats are just not good enough. And that's why. Alright, anyways. I'm just gonna rehash the same things over and over again. I agree. In that case, I don't think that Oro would be super good in this deck. So this is what I'm working on as a PO deck that beats... Because I don't actually think PO is favored versus Golos Shops. So this is like what I've come up with to beat Golos Shops. And the cards that have been the best have been a Braid and Grape Shot. You think that Managorger Hydra is boltable, Wapla? See, that's your huge misconception. Mana Hydra is just not boltable. If you think it's boltable, you're just wrong. It's like probably 1 in 20 times you jam a Managorger Hydra, it can die to bolt. Like almost every other time, it can just not die to bolt. See, that might be the whole problem that you have here. Delver is boltable. Managorger Hydra really isn't. No one's getting time to ultimate DAC. No one is getting time to ultimate DAC in my deck. I've already lost the game if someone's at ultimate DAC. Yeah, it's do you have your swords? Did your swords resolve? That's kind of what it is. At Wapla, I don't know how to explain this to you other than to tell you to play against Hydra a few times, and you'll learn that it's very, very hard against an opponent who understands what the card Lightning Bolt and Managorger Hydra do for you to bolt a Hydra. I know you're just not going to believe me until it happens to you. If your opponent is letting you bolt a Hydra, then either they're 1, desperate and out of options, or 2, not very good. That's all I can tell you. I played a lot of Hydra when I was playing Rug PO, and the amount of times it was able to get bolted was very, very slim. And that deck didn't even play Mental Misstep or Dazes or anything like that. Like, it's crazy.